What is going on, guys? This is the first of what I'm hoping is going to be many videos later down the line. And you guys saw the title, right? You all saw this. We're going to be talking about how crazy it is, how much potential there is for the franchise. And I mainly want to talk about how the potential for Halo as a universe and, more importantly, as a game is quite literally infinite, pun very much intended. And I want to talk also a little bit about how that potential in the past has been not realized or has just been kind of missed. You know what I mean? So let's get into it. So Halo's potential. Now there's a lot of different areas Halo's got potential in. This is the first and what I don't think is necessarily, no, it's the most important by far. Never mind. I take that back. It's definitely the most important. Halo's massive expanded universe. Now, Halo is a very big franchise, right? Halo has a lot of different types of things going for it. But the universe is crazy big. The universe has so many books and novels in it. Hell, alone, there's, I think, about 9 games, including, well, that's if we're including, like, Spartan Assault and Spartan Strike and Halo Wars and stuff. Mainline games, yeah, obviously there's less. But there's a lot of Halo games. There's a lot of Halo books. There are over 30 of those, excluding comics. Including comics, there's even more. There is a crazy amount of things you could do with Halo's expanded universe. There's an unlimited amount of stories you could tell with it. Like, just for example, and this is the most common example you're probably going to hear, Halo Contact Harvest. Fantastic book. Everybody watching this should probably go read that book. I'm going to be so for real. It's a great book. But that book could so easily be a game. It could be made, maybe you wouldn't do a direct adaptation of it. It could be different. But you could easily make something out of it. It's the war that started the Human Covenant War. Or I guess the battle that started the Human Covenant War. But it's pretty much the true beginning of everything that we hold special in Halo in regards to the Human Covenant War era. And there's so much you could do with it when you have a protagonist like Sergeant Johnson. You could have people even play as Tartarus in this game. There is always the question of multiplayer being brought into that type of game, but if you want my take on that, I think that would just be like a kind of smaller campaign project and not a multiplayer project. But I mean, if you could make it work, then it works, but for the most part, I'd say that should just be a campaign type of situation. But regardless, there are even more stories than that. You could have a story set during, like, I don't know, the Forerunner Flood War. You could have a story set during the post-war era, playing as the Arbiter, going against, like, all the fucking keeps on St. Helios, trying to unite them. You could have so many different types of stories with this. It's honestly criminal how 343, or I guess Halo Studios, still haven't been able to use all these types of expanded media. Because all the types of expanded media we end up getting are all books. Which I'm not saying books are bad. Books are great. We love books. Oh, I love books. I don't know about everybody else, but I like books. But all these books could so easily be made into games. And I don't understand how some of them haven't yet. I think we all thought that Halo Infinite was going to do that with campaign DLC, but it didn't. So, fingers crossed. Not even fingers crossed. I'm going to cross everything. We need this type of thing to be done in future projects. Like, I think it's ridiculous how campaign never gets anything at all. I always said this about games like Red Dead 2, how campaign expansions never were really a thing in that game. I always thought that was weird. Especially because, you know, Red Dead's world is so big, but that's getting off topic. Regardless, Halo has a really expansive lore, and we totally could be exploiting it, but we just haven't been. Because, I mean, the lore is damn well near as big as Star Wars. Like, we could totally be doing things with it, but we just haven't. So, if anyone from Halo Studios is watching this, I strongly doubt it, but if anyone is, that's what we need. That's what we want. I guarantee, maybe not all of us, but most of us watching, we probably all wanted these spin-off games more than we want a Combat Evolved remake. But either way, Yeah, I think that's the first and probably most important point. All right, the second point I'm going to make is Halo's gameplay and narrative flexibility. And what I mean by narrative flexibility, that might sound weird. What I mean by that is how, since the Halo's universe is so big, this is going to go into my first point a little bit. But since the universe is so big, and since there's so many different types of characters, there's an unlimited amount of ways you could be releasing these types of games. You could have, like, we could have more things like Halo Wars 2. We could have, like, strategy games. We could have, like, a third-person game. We could have, like, a stealth-style game. We could have, like, all these types of exploration games that we haven't really had before. We could really dip our toes into something that's different with Halo's gameplay. Like, personally, I think it's ridiculous how there hasn't been another ODST game. And this might be a bit of a hot take incoming. Halo 3 ODST doesn't do enough of leaning into the whole being a regular soldier thing. It doesn't do enough. It still feels like you're too powerful. But if you could make a game where you just play as a Marine and you're really forced to, like, think about encounters or, like, do all this other shit to take down the aliens because you're not a super soldier anymore, or, like, taking away the ability to melee brutes or something, that would be fucking awesome if we could do more shit like that with Halo's gameplay, because there's so much, like, different types of characters. Another example I got would be, like, you know, the most basic one, Flood horror game. Everybody has talked about that for so long. We've all talked about a Flood horror game. Yeah, we've all talked about a Flood horror game, and I think it's absolutely insane that hasn't been done yet. I feel like there's so many developers that would want to get their hands on something like that. Like, dude, imagine playing a game where you're, like, you could be a Forerunner or something, or, like, you could be one of the dudes in Void. Like, imagine playing a game like that where you're just a regular human and, like, combat forms are all chasing you or something. Or, like, imagine a game, this wouldn't even be for Flood, but this would be a different type of game. Imagine a game where you're a human prisoner and you get, if anybody knows the story, Stomping on the Heels of a Fuss, you could get a situation like that going on where there's literally just brutes, like, tearing people to shreds. I don't think it should be as graphic as that, but literally there's just brutes torturing human prisoners in that fucking game. Like, you could literally make a game like that easily, and I don't understand how it hasn't been done yet. I don't understand how stealth mechanics haven't been done in, like, a Halo game yet. Like, Halo is kind of just, you know, the normal formula. Like, we're really used to being able to charge and everything loud as a Spartan because we're the super soldiers, but having a game where we have to, like, kind of be stealthy and, like, you know, like, maybe stab an elite in the back or something all the time would really flip the Halo gameplay, like, on its head. And I think that it is something that hasn't been, like, realized yet. Like, we need Far Cry level of stealth, I think, in Halo. I think that'd be a great thing to see. Probably not for a mainline game, but, like, for, like, an ODST or for, like, a headhunter game or something like that. I think that'd be a great idea. All right, next point I want to talk about, and this is probably going to be the biggest one that hasn't really been brought up yet because I've kind of been saving it, but Halo's multiplayer. Now, Halo's multiplayer is very unique compared to other games. Halo's multiplayer, everybody's kind of said this, not to beat a dead horse, but everyone said Halo's multiplayer is, like, the perfect blend between, like, social and, I guess, competitive gameplay. I think that's the best way to describe Halo's gameplay, especially the best way to describe it to multiplayer. And Halo's multiplayer, not to state the obvious, but we have not had a Halo multiplayer ship complete in years. I don't think, in fact, maybe never. I don't know, but, like, we have not had that in so long, at least not with 343. We have not had a Halo game released complete at all. And it's ridiculous how other games launching alongside this game come with all these features. Halo gets, like, nothing added to it. Like, what the fuck? Why is Halo getting nothing added to it? There's literally all these different types of, not even modes. Like, you could add, like, all these different types of cosmetics. You could add different weapons, which I don't really understand how Halo Infinite didn't get more weapons. I mean, I guess, yeah, they're working on the Skeleton Crew by the end of Halo Infinite's development cycle. but I still think that's ridiculous. Either way, point being, I guess with Halo's multiplayer is kind of that there's just so much stuff you could do with it, especially from the competitive scene, because Halo 5 was a really good competitive game. I'm kind of on the same page with people like MidBlitz who said this, where they were like, oh, Halo 5 would have been a good game if it didn't have the Halo title attached to it. I completely agree with that. Halo's multiplayer, it needs to do what makes it special, but it also needs to do like some of the modern parts of it. Like, that's why I'm kind of on the page of Sprint being in all these Halo games. I think most people kind of are now, but like the way Infinite did it with Sprint, like how we kind of just had, it's Sprint, but it's like, what? I believe 8% speed boost, like an 8% speed boost. Like, it's not that much. Like, yeah, sure, it makes you go faster, but it feels way more like a modern version of Sprint than like Halo 4 or Halo 5 did. Halo 4's was really, really fast, and Halo 5's had that fucking Spartan charge thing. But yeah, no, I think that by far we all kind of agree that Halo's multiplayer needs to embrace a minute special, but it also needs to change and evolve with time. And also, on top of that, like, Halo's multiplayer is kind of, I don't want to say missing, but it's not doing as much as I think it should be doing. It needs to dip its toes in something different. I kind of said that about campaigns, but it does. It's like 4v4 arena shooters aren't as popular as they used to be. And we we know that. Like, these aren't the most popular types of games anymore. I think Halo can do something to make them more popular, but I also think that something like that Battle Royale mode that we talked about needs to get added to the game, or at least added to some type of game. I think that the next Halo game, realistically, it needs to play like Infinite, because that's the best example I think we have of a modernization of that classic style of gameplay. I think that's by far the best example, and I think most of us could agree with that. I guess, pretty much just in short, for Halo's multiplayer, it's like I kind of went a little bit off topic, but Halo's multiplayer got a lot of potential, especially as a competitive title. But I guess what I also am trying to say is we need to make it more accessible to new players. And we need to make sure that, like, people playing this game are going to be able to pick it up and be like, hey, I'm kind of chilling playing this game. Like, we need to make sure there are modes where it's just not nearly as sweaty, or like, we need a system where it's like a little bit better skill-based matchmaking, because our skill-based matchmaking with Halo has never been that great. Like, well, not never, but like, it hasn't been that great for a while, especially in regards to things like Halo 5's, which is really strict and really tight. But Halo Infinite is kind of annoying because it kind of expects you to carry, especially if you're really good. But either way, yeah, no, we need to do something about making the game more accessible to new players, because I think it's hard to get people into it like that. At least in some of the more chaotic modes like Super Fiesta or anything like that. But anyway, next thing I want to say about Halo's potential, or at least what I think Halo's potential could have, is the massively untapped potential of Halo television. And I don't just mean that garbage fucking TV show. I want shit like the Discover Hope trailer levels of good. I want Halo shit, and well, I guess it's not shit. I want Halo stuff that's genuinely really good as a show, because Halo, not to say it again, but the infinite potential of Halo as a medium for just straight up just watching it is so massive. Like, dude, have you seen the type of shit that we get in like these little short live action trailers? Like, dude, we need to have a full length type of situation like that. Like, we really only have that with just these little trailers, and we didn't really get, I think we got like one maybe for Infinite. I actually don't know what we got for that. You'd have to look that up, but pretty much, like, we need better Halo live action. Like, the Halo live action we got with the Halo TV show was not Halo. It was an abomination that we don't speak of. It was terrible. That for all intents and purposes, it was one of the worst things that we've ever watched, I think, in our lives. And we need something better than that for the future of Halo. Because there's, like, dude, imagine getting, like, Halo 2 the show or Halo 2 the movie or something. Like, we could literally get some of the best pieces of cinema out of these games, or at least out of these movies. Like, it doesn't even have to be about the games. These movies could literally have nothing to do with them, and they could still be amazing movies. Especially just because of how expansive the universe is. I already talked about that, but, like, just because of how much you could do with a TV show like this. It could be about so much. It could be about Oni. It could be about ODSTs. It could be about Spartans. It could be about elites. It could be about the Covenant. It could be about so much. And I don't understand how we never got anything like that. Especially with, like, we see franchises, I know these are bigger than Halo, but we see franchises like Star Wars get things like that. And Halo's universe is pretty big, just like Star Wars, and I don't really understand how we haven't gotten it yet. But this is probably the last point, and this isn't really a point of, how to say this? This isn't really a point of, like, oh, this is something for Halo's potential. This is straight up what I think we need to do to keep Halo going as a franchise in general. We need to introduce Halo Infinite to new people, because the way Halo Infinite launched was terrible. It was awful, right? I think we could all agree, even if we love the game now, the way it launched was terrible. It's not even close to the game it was at launch. This game right now is fucking incredible. I'm sorry. It has its problems. You can say whatever you want about it, but Halo Infinite is way, way better than it used to be. And I personally think that if we continue to get people to play Infinite, it's going to save Halo, because there's so much to do in this game. There's the crazy shit they got in Forge, bro. They got all those different new modes and everything. We got, like, quick play, which, yeah, even though it's not perfect, it's way more accessible to new people. The ranked system is really good. Like, the gameplay is really good. I don't think there's, like, yeah, there's problems with the game. The biggest problem I have is the item shop, but I don't really want to spend the rest of this talking about that. But realistically, I think this game, we need to introduce people to it. Like, we need to introduce everyone we can. I personally think everyone here, I've been trying to do it with my friends, like, we need to introduce it to our, well, not mine, but we need to introduce it to your kids. We got to introduce it to friends. We got to reintroduce it to people who stopped playing the game. Like, we have to make the game more interesting for people to play. And we have to bring that social experience back to the game. And we need to do a Battlefront 2 level resurgence, personally, if you ask me, with this game. But, yeah, that's close to the end. Let me know what you guys thought of that. That was my first video. It was probably messy as hell, and I don't know if anyone could tell, but it was pretty unscripted. And I'll catch you guys later, and I'll see what you guys say in the comments. Goodbye.